BTS News Today.in. An era where pop culture moves at the speed of a swipe and attention spans are fractured by endless streams of content. Very few narratives manage to transcend trends and remain emotionally relevant across cultures, languages, and generations. Yet, among the many stories that have emerged from the global rise of BTS, the bond between Jimin and Jungkook, widely known by fans as Jikook, continues to endure with an intensity that defies conventional explanations. Their popularity is paradoxical not because it exists, but because it persists. While other viral dynamics fade with time, Jakook remains a constant presence in global fan discourse, analysis, art, and emotional investment. At first glance, it would be easy to attribute this phenomenon to fandom exaggeration or selective attention. BTS, after all, is a group whose members share deep friendships forged over years of shared struggle, success, and scrutiny. However, what sets Jakook apart in the collective imagination is not merely the frequency of their interactions, but the emotional texture of them. Their bond resists easy categorization. It is neither loudly performative nor strategically marketed. Instead, it unfolds quietly, often in moments that appear unguarded, fleeting, or even accidental. And that subtlety is precisely what fuels its longevity. From their earliest days as trainees, Jimin and Jungkook occupied different emotional spaces within the group. Jungkook, the youngest, entered the industry as a prodigy burdened with expectations, talent, and the silent pressure of being the golden magne. Jimin, older yet emotionally perceptive, carried his own vulnerabilities shaped by self-criticism and an intense desire to prove himself. When these two trajectories intersected, the result was not competition but balance. Over time, fans observed a dynamic in which Jungkook seemed to find grounding and reassurance, while Jimin appeared to gain strength and confidence through quiet mutual understanding. What makes the global appeal of Jakook particularly compelling is that it does not rely on grand declarations or dramatic narratives. Instead, it thrives in nuance. A glance held a second longer than expected, a hand resting protectively on a shoulder during moments of stress, shared laughter that feels private even on public stages. These are the fragments that fans around the world collect and interpret. In many cultures, especially those where emotional restraint is valued, such subtle expressions of care resonate deeply. They invite viewers to lean in, to observe rather than be told, to feel rather than be instructed. The paradox lies in the fact that Jakook's popularity has grown even as BTS members have become more guarded with time. As global fame intensified, boundaries understandably became firmer. Yet, instead of diminishing interest, this restraint sharpened it. Each genuine moment between Jimin and Jungkook began to carry more weight precisely because it was not constant. Scarcity amplified meaning. Fans learned to recognize authenticity not through quantity, but through emotional consistency. When Jakook moments appeared, they felt earned rather than manufactured. Another reason their bond endures globally is its universality. While rooted in a specific cultural context, the emotional language between Jimin and Jungkook transcends borders. The dynamic of mutual support between two individuals navigating pressure, identity, and growth is not unique to idols. It is profoundly human. In different parts of the world, fans project their own experiences onto this relationship, friendships that saved them, bonds that provided safety, or connections that felt like home in uncertain times. Jakook becomes less about two celebrities and more about a mirror reflecting emotional needs shared across cultures. Social media has played a complex role in sustaining this phenomenon. On one hand, it accelerates speculation and sometimes amplifies misinterpretation. On the other, it allows fans from vastly different backgrounds to engage in collective meaning-making. Essays, video analyses, translations of interviews, and artistic interpretations circulate globally, reinforcing a shared narrative space. Unlike fleeting trends, this discourse is slow, reflective, and often deeply emotional. Fans do not simply consume content. They analyze it, contextualize it, and revisit it years later. This sustained intellectual and emotional engagement transforms popularity into permanence. Critically, Jakook's bond has also endured because it has evolved. Early interactions were marked by youthful closeness and playful affection. As the years passed, fans noticed a shift toward quieter forms of support. The laughter became softer, the gestures subtler, the concern more evident in moments of exhaustion or vulnerability. This evolution mirrors real human relationships, which change as people grow. The refusal of their bond to remain static allows fans to grow alongside it, maintaining relevance across different stages of life. There is also a notable absence of overt explanation. Jimin and Jakook have never felt compelled to define their relationship in explicit terms. In an industry often driven by narratives crafted for consumption, this silence is powerful. It creates space for interpretation without forcing conclusions. The lack of definitive labeling paradoxically strengthens the bond's mystique, allowing it to remain fluid and resistant to dismissal. What is undefined cannot easily be disproven, and what is felt does not require validation. Skeptics often argue that such popularity is sustained purely by fan projection. While projection undeniably plays a role in all forms of celebrity culture, it does not fully account for the consistency of emotional patterns observed over more than a decade. Projection may ignite interest, but it cannot sustain it without material to return to. The reason Jikook discourse never fully disappears is because new moments, however small, continue to align with the emotional framework fans have long recognized. Consistency, not fantasy, is what anchors belief. Moreover, the endurance of Jakook's popularity challenges traditional metrics of success in pop culture. It is not driven by solo promotions, chart rankings, or official branding. Instead, it exists largely outside institutional reinforcement. This grassroots longevity gives it a resilience that manufactured narratives lack. Even during periods of group hiatus or reduced public appearances, discussions persist, memories resurface, and emotional investment remains intact. In many ways, the global fascination with Jikook also reflects a broader cultural shift. Audiences are increasingly drawn to authenticity, vulnerability, and relational depth rather than spectacle alone. The bond between Jimin and Jakook symbolizes a quiet rebellion against performative intimacy. It suggests that connection does not need to be loud to be meaningful, and that emotional truth can exist even under the constraints of global scrutiny. BTS members pursue individual paths and redefine their careers beyond group identity. The question of whether Jakook's popularity will endure naturally arises. Yet, history suggests that their bond is not dependent on constant proximity or shared schedules. It is rooted in something more enduring: shared memory, mutual respect, and emotional imprint. These are not erased by time or distance. If anything, they often deepen. Ultimately, the paradox of Jakook's popularity is that it feels both intensely personal and universally shared. Millions of fans around the world feel as though they are witnessing something intimate, yet that intimacy belongs to no single viewer. It exists in the collective consciousness, sustained by empathy rather than ownership. In a world increasingly defined by noise, the quiet persistence of Jakook's bond stands out. It endures not because it demands attention, but because it earns it again and again in the smallest and most human of ways.